continental U.S.'s oldest masonry fort, two forbidden lovers' spirits are forever bound in the web they created in America's oldest city. The 1672 Spanish military fort, Castillo de San Marcos, is the setting for a love tale. Betraying Colonel Garcia Marti's trust cost both eternally. Visitors may see, hear, and smell these two in the historic fort. The strongest unidentified aroma in passersby's nostrils is the most noticeable indication. Stories began when two skeletons were unearthed in an underground dungeon. We strive to solve the mystery of Castillo de San Marcos's two abandoned lovers, who have enthralled St. Augustine visitors for decades. One of two coquina limestone forts in the globe, the Spanish fort was built in 1672. It was built to protect St. Augustine, a Spanish jewel and Atlantic trade route. The invaders were close. The oldest European settlement in the U.S., St. Augustine, was established in 1565 and has withstood numerous trials. Pirate raids were rising. Therefore, a small wooden fort was erected in 1668. The town almost starved. 8 years had passed since the Spanish crown offered situados to the little town. People were struggling, infrastructure was deteriorating, and over 400,000 pesos were due. These conditions allowed a pirate ship camouflaged as a situados to enter the city. The assault killed 60, requiring a new fort. Only some regions yield coquina limestone, built by coquina clam donax shells for millennia. The Spanish had easy access to this rock but seldom used it. St. Augustine residents were largely soldiers, not masons. After the 1688 siege of St. Augustine and government pressure, the appropriate merchants went to the New World. Building lasted 1672-1695. A large courtyard and 12 19-foot walls sheltered St. Augustine citizens. The construction was useful and sustainable. Charleston Governor James Moore attacked St. Augustine in 1702, 7 years after completion. Cannon blast bounced against coconut walls. The English again attempted to take St. Augustine in 1740. The fort withstood the bombing. After the 7 Years' War, Spain lost St. Augustine in 1763. British and Spanish swapped. The English gained Florida for La Habana. After U.S. freedom 20 years later, Spain regained the city and fort. Here come our melancholy loves. Colonel Garcia Marti and his lovely young wife Dolores came at Castillo de San Marcos. He was notable, busy, maybe more concerned with job than love. A bit older than his attractive young wife. Young lovers, read this to treat your mate nicely on Valentine's Day. He worked with younger Dolores-like assistant Captain Abella. Abella was gorgeous and lively, therefore Dolores loved him and vice versa. Dolores adored perfumes and used them often. Her cheerful scents filled the fort, and everyone enjoyed them. It attracted Captain Young. Colonel Marti smelled his wife's strong aroma throughout Abella. One night, Marti envied the soldiers leaving for town and allowed it get to him. Fortress soldiers loved Dolores and Captain Abella. After many days, they naturally wondered where they were. They were long missing. Marti persuaded his soldiers that Dolores was ill in St. Augustine and sent to Mexico to recover, while the young captain was sent to Cuba on a special assignment. Despite his confusion, everyone trusted the colonel's story. The fort operated normally for years. A young lieutenant observed something peculiar about the dungeon structure when American soldiers took over Castillo de San Marcos after Florida joined the U.S. Hollow wall. He broke the brick wall out of curiosity. He smelled a lady and found 2 convicts' bones. These bones exist in the fort, despite no proof they belong to Dolores and Abella. The dungeon smells like Dolores and has flashing lights, orbs, and apparitions along the bones' wall. Maybe the most essential lesson from this story is to not overlook your family. Love lasts forever. Therefore, they'll find another.